So yes, good afternoon or good evening or whenever you're watching this. I always say the time of the day that I am, but of course you could be watching this at any time. I am of course on the home treadmill. I'm going to move you a little bit more this way so you can see me a little bit better. But what are we going to talk about today? Well, I thought I'd try and let the time go by a bit, because staring at a wall and a freezer and a washing machine isn't probably the most exciting thing for myself. So of course I'd rather see my own reflection. Not really. But what we're going to talk about, we are going to talk about some fragrances that have silly names. Of course, big selling point of fragrances, first of all, is the scent, the name right, but also sometimes the shape of the bottle can influence your buying, and also just the name itself can be catchy, can be corny, and you might just go, oh, go on, let's get it. If there was one called The Amazing Harry, I would probably buy it, for example, just because it's got my name in it, just a prime example there. So I've kind of got ChatGPT to help me here with this one. Going to give a few fragrances that have got silly names, or I think they're silly names as well. I agree with ChatGPT on these, that may or may not tempt you to buy them, but yeah, they're very weird. I've never heard of some of these ones before. I feel like I should have heard of some of these ones before, because they're very interesting. I've certainly bought some interesting ones myself lately, but we won't waste any more time. We're going to get into the first one. I'll tell you a little bit about that fragrance in terms of its notes as well, and yeah, see if it's something that might interest you. Okay, so the first one, and this brand seems to be in it quite a lot, so I will mention another one, but it's by Killian. Killian, very well known fragrance brand, much more niche than the fragrance community, very popular. And this one is called Kissing, burns 6.4 calories a minute. Wanna work out? Yes, that is the whole name. I'm not asking you to kiss me or anything like that. That is the name of the fragrance. So this one's kind of marketed as an oriental vanilla, looking at Fragrantica. It's got things like milk, sugar, vanilla. Seems like a very sweet type fragrance. Marketed to women and men, but certainly seems to lean more feminine. There is also Lily Valley in there. A bit of bergamot, so there's some quite safe notes. And in terms of Fragrantica, it gives it a 3.85. But yes, what a really, really weird name. And I feel like, if you see the bottle of this one, so it's quite a big lid. It's a safe fragrance, but it's a bold appearance, and I think maybe that's why it hasn't got the top scores. It's not that sort of fragrance. It needs maybe something else, milk, sugar, vanilla. It's kind of like a lot of gourmand scents these days. I think this needs to have a bit more of a show-stopping potential about it. Maybe if it had I think this should have had iris. When you hear of like lipstick, for example, obviously lipstick kissing maybe, iris is very well known for that sort of lipsticky vibe you get with it. So maybe it just didn't do that well because of the name's a bit long, isn't it, as well? Do you think that name's a little bit too long? I had to double check, for example, before I read it, but that's what it was actually called as well. I just don't think the scent matches the name, but that's probably the weirdest name I think I've ever heard. Kissing burns 6.4 calories a minute on a workout. That's a lot of calories, more than I'm doing on here at the moment, that's for sure. So if you were looking for a Killian fragrance that has a bit of iris in, a bit of sandalwood, some of those other notes that we've just mentioned, there is one that has a similar vibe. It's also described as an oriental vanilla, and it's this one. Let's settle this argument like adults in the bedroom, naked. Yes, I had to repeat that clip essentially because I said it wrong originally. This one again has a lot of very safe notes, but it does have iris in it. It has fig nectar, which actually seems to be getting quite popular in a lot of fragrances as well, but it's also got a bit of bergamot, and again marketed as an oriental vanilla, so exactly the same fragrance genre as the other one, but again a very strange name. Bottles not quite as bold as the last one, but it's statement. It's very, very statement again in terms of the name, and it is again suited to those date nights out. So I feel like this one, the genre of it maybe is a little bit better than the name of the first one, but again, what a very, very weird name. And for me, if I was coming up with a name for myself, I'd rather just go for something like Naked Attraction. I think this one's too wordy, too mouthy, and even myself, as I said, I've had to Google it a few times just to try and actually find the right one. So let me know what you think of that name. I think that one's just as bizarre, but I think I still prefer the first one. Let's go on to the next one anyway. Okay, so I think I'm going to do 5 weird names, and I'm going to go on to the third one now, and this actually is a brand I've never heard of. DS and Durga, I don't know what. Now, ChatGPT probably best described this one. They said it's kind of like someone started writing something and then they just gave up. I don't know what. We'll just get it out as that. And to be honest with you, it's not that daring a fragrance either. Again, silly name, bit of a statement maybe. But actually the notes in it, ISO-E Super, very popular again. It's used in like eccentric molecules, quite popular for layering. I like the fact that it's got synthetic civet in it. Yes, synthetic civet. Obviously, Civetone's been used in fragrances a lot, you know, and it gives it that animalic vibe. Calvin Klein Obsession, which is one of my favourites, has that one in as well. It's a little bit hit and miss. Some people like it, some people don't. But it is quite a musky fragrance. This is described as a woody, aromatic. Again, not a brand I've heard of, so let me know if you've tried DS and Durga. What do you think of that name? I don't know what. The thing with that one compared to the other two is it's not really corny. It's not really, you know, playing on the edge. It's literally, I don't know why. And it makes you think, actually, we could all come up with a better fragrance name for that. So if you're a musky, animalic fragrance, what would I give it? I would call this one... I don't know what. We'll just keep it at that. Okay, the next one I'm sure is one that you know very well. This is a fragrance I have actually owned. I've had clones of this fragrance and I really, really like it. But the reviews on Fragrantica, it's under 4 on the rating. I think it's more because of the name, essentially, this one. It's Tom Ford. I won't say the word, but it's F. Fabulous. The F word, fabulous. You know Gordon Ramsay, he says that word a lot. You know what I'm on about. Now, they did change this one. I think they ended up just calling it Fabulous. They crossed out with a red line on the bottle the swear word that's in it. This one's really good. It's got leather, it's got vanilla in it. It's a really nice combination. There's also a bit of bitter almond in it, so it kind of gives a boozy vibe. But I don't think there's any boozy notes particularly mentioned in this one. For me, this is kind of your modern James Bond type fragrance. Leather jacket, bit of a statement. But I think where Tom Ford got this one wrong was the name. I think... Look, do I think there's a place for those sort of names? Yes, I do, but Tom Ford doesn't need to do that. This isn't a brand, you know, if there was a brand that deliberately had these swear-wordy names or names that are a little bit, you know, rude, let's say, then I could maybe understand it. But when you've got a tobacco vanille, when you've got a Grey Vesper, which I think is an amazing, one of their best fragrances, one of their most underrated fragrances, do you need one that says this? No, you've got the quality. The quality is in your sense. The quality doesn't need to be, or the statement doesn't need to be in the name. That's where they got it wrong. I love the word fabulous. I think fabulous is brilliant, but it could have been, I don't know what. Again, I'm going back to that. But it could have just been something else. It could be corny. It can be corny. It doesn't have to be that. And yeah, I think they missed a trick there, but it's not a name that I think is memorable. So where I think some of them are too long, this one I think is too rude, and the other one I don't know what. It's probably the best of the 4 so far. So we've got one more to go for, and yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing this one with you as well. Okay, and the last one, I bet you can't wait for this. You've probably heard of this one as well, but it's Juliette Has a Gun, Not a Perfume. Can you imagine fun conversations, the humorous conversation you have when someone says, "You smell really nice, what are you wearing?" "Not a perfume." "What do you mean, not a perfume?" "No, not a perfume, that's what it's called." You'd confuse them, wouldn't you? You'd be the head of the game. But actually, this one is quite interesting. I've just done a little bit of research on it, and I can see now why the name is what it actually is. At least it kind of defines why it is called that. Essentially, it's one molecule again. I think it's ambrox they called it, or something, cellotox, or something like that. Essentially, it's a formula of ambroxan. So if you know eccentric molecules, they do a couple, molecule 01 and molecule 02. Isoe super and ambroxan, they tend to just do this one molecule, which you can use for layering, but it also has a different aroma on some people's skin, the skin chemistry. This is just one molecule again, this fragrance, and it kind of gives you that musky, woody vibe. Essentially, that's what ambroxan tends to be with a lot of people. Used a lot in things like a Dior Sauvage type blue fragrance smell. Really good for layering with other scents, and that's what this one kind of is. It's clean, minimalistic, very easy to pull off, but some people will criticise it in the sense that some people don't really smell anything from it. Some people say they don't smell it on themselves, but other people around them go, "I can really smell a scent on you." That's what this kind of one molecule does. As I said, really good for layering if you want to, but also it can be worn on its own as well. Just as nice simplistic molecule fragrance, but not a perfume, as the name says, because it doesn't have a mixture of different notes in it. It's just very, very minimalistic, very simplistic. But I like the name. It's a name that, again, it makes sense, this one. This is why I've kind of saved, in my opinion, the best till last. It makes sense with the name of the fragrance. It's not showy. It's not a really silly name, but it is also standout, because it's like, well, why is it called Not a Perfume? And there's a reason behind it. So I do like that one by Juliette Has a Gun. Smelt a few of their ones before. My mum's owned a couple of those. I'll be honest with you, as a brand, I've been disappointed with the performance on them. Never really impressed me, their performance. But again, again, let me know if there's any you recommend. I think they do one called Vanilla Vibes, which I'd like to smell, but of course they are marketed more towards women. But this one, I think actually you could wear male or female, it'd be absolutely fine. Getting a bit worn out now. My dinner is nearly ready. My brother is making us, or not making us, putting in the oven a prawn pizza. A bit of a weird combination as well, I think. But anyway, I'm looking forward to trying it. Maybe trying some of these weird named fragrances as well. What would my weird name fragrance be? Well, it's got to be something related to fitness for me, because I'm always doing exercise and obviously fragrances as well. So I think it would be, what would Harry's fragrance name be? It's got to be like the fitness fragrance something, isn't it? Fabulous fitness fragrance. There you go, Tom Ford. That's what you should have called your one. I'm sure I'll come up with a better one as well. Maybe at some point we will make our own fragrance and we can give it a name on the channel as well. I think that sounds a good idea. That is on my mission. Maybe I will buy some Perfume oils soon, just some cheap little ones, and we can make an amazing combination with some of my favourite notes. But I hope you've enjoyed this one today, and yeah, opened your eyes to some weird names that are out there, whether you knew them or not. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.